waking up. What does it mean to wake up? This is the most significant process that any human being can undertake. What does it mean to wake up? So the awakening is awakening back to who one ultimately is. And the question is, why are we asleep? Why are we so unconscious? Why are we so under the spell of our conditionings and of our illusory story? Waking up is a process of awakening our consciousness. And our consciousness has fallen as a species to a very low point. It's fallen to a point where animals sometimes laugh at us, like kookaburras, because they look at us and they see how daft we are, destroying the planet, being corrupted, being abusive. Nature doesn't have these problems, only humans do. So what does it mean to be an awakened human being in this age? There are many steps of awakening, and the most important step is the awakening of the Kundalini. What is this? Kundalini is a Sanskrit word which means, in one sense, energy or power. The Kundalini is the root energy of creation. It is known in the yogic literature as Prakriti, the power of nature. And this is a power that is dormant in most human beings. It's a power that's asleep. And this power is symbolized in yoga as a serpent that is coiled in the spine 3.5 times. When the Kundalini awakens, the energy of this power shoots up the spine and pierces the different energy centers, or the chakras, which relate to different aspects of consciousness in a being. The first center is the base chakra, which is around survival. It's where our most instinctual self is. It's our most animal consciousness. And this is where humanity's consciousness mostly lies, in our animal state. Second level is in sexuality. It's our sexual organs. It's our creational energy. The third level is in our navel. It's a navel chakra. And this center is about our boundaries and personal relationships and our power dynamic. The fourth level is the bridge between the higher and the lower. It's really the most important chakra, although all chakras are equally important. This is the center of the heart. This is our first, in a sense, spiritual chakra, which relates to love and connection and feeling. The next chakra is our throat, Vishuddhi. This relates to our communication, purification. The next chakra is our third eye. And this is our chakra of insight, of psychology, of envisioning, manifestation. And the next chakra is our crown chakra. And this is sort of like our higher center. The human being in total has 112 chakras, many of which are minor chakras. And all of these chakras comprise the human energy system, which links all aspects of our consciousness and reality in the multidimensional matrix of our being. And so the work of awakening is in bringing our energy consciousness to a higher vibrational standpoint, where we work through the different issues associated with each center and learn how to master and gain greater awareness and clarity and consciousness over our being, which involves learning very fundamental life and spiritual lessons, correcting our mistakes, engaging in self-inquiry and self-healing, gaining greater balance within ourselves, learning how to balance our energy, understanding how our psyche and our multidimensional anatomy are related, and how our external circumstances provoke our consciousness through our different centers. And this work is the work of awakening to a greater consciousness, a more expanded consciousness, a more elevated consciousness, a more awakened being that is more conscious and less unconscious. In the realm of the unconscious human being, we are animals. When we gain some level of consciousness, we recognize our humanity. And when we rise our consciousness, we awaken to our divinity. And so as a species, our task, the task that is unique to every single human being along their spiritual path, is in gaining greater awareness, gaining greater balance, in creating greater connection, and in seeking to live in alignment with one's true self. There can be no greater path than this. The awakening of humanity is the awakening of the planet. And as the planet is awakening, her consciousness is rising from the earth consciousness to Tara consciousness. She is raising her vibration as the energetic architecture of the earth is uplifted through the efforts of many planetary workers who are seeking to raise their own vibration and create the energetic architecture that can lift the planet up. And as we raise our consciousness as a collective, what we find is that there is less poverty, there's less fear, there are more opportunities, there's more love and connection. That it's ultimately the work of our consciousness, not the work of our job, of our profession, of whatever circumstances we find ourselves in, that is the true work of our being in this time on this planet. And so part of the awakening is in living a lifestyle, creating a job or living in a job that is in alignment with this awakening process. And part of that for many people is in gaining the awareness of what is not working. This is one of the most important tests that they can undertake, which is learning to assess the dysfunctionalities of the system that we live in and having the courage to seek to internally clear, heal, and balance themselves so that they can shift this on the external world. What has happened on this planet is that we've been brought into a system, but the system has been brought into us. And when we are no longer operating in that system internally, then we can see the system in the external world and not be influenced by it, because we realize that it's just another person's dream. And it's a dysfunctional dream that's becoming a nightmare. So awakening is the work of waking up to perhaps the dysfunctional dream that we may have been living or the planet may be living, and having the courage to take a 180, a semi-revolution, a partial revolution, to be heading in the direction of your own fulfillment at the soul level. May you wake up and create the life that you wish to create.